Today we're going to discuss some fun news, a new project that I'm undertaking that may be of interest to all of you, coming right up. My name's Doug Smith, and if you're interested in living a wiser and a kinder and a calmer life, consider subscribing to the channel. Now those words, a wiser life, a kinder life, a calmer life, that approach to life, that is the sort of the heart of what I'm doing here on YouTube. And if you stick around to the end, I'll have a freebie that I'm giving away that may help enlighten you and give some context about those three words and why they're so important. So over the last couple of years and more on this YouTube channel, I've found that there is a great deal of interest in bringing out the wisdom, the truth, the stories that we find in the early texts, the texts of early Buddhism. And in their interpretations, contemporary interpretations, among secular Buddhists as well. Both of these strains, I think, come together in an important way, although they're somewhat separate, but they come together and help us to live a better life, help us to deal with the stresses in our life better, help us to be kinder people to others around us, help us to deal, as I say, with the problems that arise inevitably as things change, as things decay, as we get older. These are things that we all have to confront in our lives, and there's a wisdom to these early texts which, while we can find wisdom as well in other philosophies and other approaches, the wisdom that we find, I think, in early Buddhism in particular, is of a depth that is, let's say, incommensurate with the way it's understood in the West in particular. That is, it's not well understood, and yet it's very, very deep. And the sort of thing that many of us could really benefit from knowing about. And as a result, I think that's part of the reason why, I should say, that these videos of mine over the last couple of years and more have struck a nerve and have become popular, because there's a need for this kind of information. But YouTube videos are, by necessity, short. You can't really make a YouTube video that people are going to watch that's more than, let's say, 20 minutes or half an hour long. Some of mine have really pushed that envelope, but still, there is a limit, even for me. I mean, there are longer videos out there, there are series and so on, but if you look at the viewership, they tend to be very low. And although even if the top number may be high, in my experience, the number of people who actually watch more than the first little bit of it is vanishingly small. So YouTube is wonderful for one-off videos, for short videos, for getting stuff across while, let's say, you're on a bus or commuting to work or watching something on a cell phone, or when you have 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 minutes in your life. It's good because you can sort of shoehorn a nice video in there. But there's also room, I think, and necessity for material that is longer in scope, that's larger in scope, that spans more time than you can really get across effectively on YouTube videos. And that may contain other material as well, written material and so on. And what that points towards is courses, is having courses that we can delve into together, and try to get something out of that is going to be life-changing, at least in the respect that any course can be life-changing, which is minor unless we're willing to put it into practice. Nevertheless, I think there's a huge need for courses on this material. And indeed, Buddhist organizations around the country and around the world have courses that they give. Most of them are in person, in a center of some kind that you have to travel to and usually stay for a while because the course takes time. And those can be wonderful opportunities for us to learn, but they can also be difficult to get to, expensive to travel and to stay there. And so that can be, as I say, it can be one option, but that's only one option, a course that's given at a center somewhere, a retreat center, let's say. There also are perhaps more efficient for us or easy for us to do online courses. Tricycle Magazine, for example, has any number of online courses. Lion's Roar Magazine as well has online courses that they're doing in concert with Naropa University. And my teacher, Andrew Olenski, also has courses at his Integrated Dharma Institute. So there are a number of Buddhist courses that we can find online. However, the vast majority of them have relatively little to do with early Buddhism in particular. They span all of the range of Buddhism, and as a result tend to be focused more on the Buddhism that's most popular in the West, which tends to be the Mahayana type, the Vajrayana, Tibetan Buddhism, or a blend of all kinds, which can, I think, of course, it can be very useful to many of us. It can also be confusing to some of us because there's many differences between these schools. And by blending material from the different schools in one single course, what we may find is a blend of material that doesn't hang so well together, at least if we want to delve deeper. Only Andrew Olenski really focuses exclusively on the early material, and I would recommend you to check out his courses as well. They tend to be very text-based. He does a lot of textual work, and so what you will be presented with is a number of texts to read through along with him. So my own approach is somewhat different. That is, from my work on YouTube, I have come to approach this material when teaching it in a video format. So I feel most comfortable teaching it with videos rather than with texts, although I think texts can and should be a supplement to the material that I will be presenting. What I think of as my model with these courses, which is where we're going with this, is an institute like the Great Courses. You may have heard of the Great Courses. It's an online course, like a university type thing, a place, a website where you can find courses on hundreds and hundreds of different topics by some of the great teachers and professors, either within university or who are not in university, but who teach the material extremely well in a video format. Now, they have very, very little on Buddhism. Buddhism is, let's face it, a niche topic within the university. It's relatively understudied within the university, and early Buddhism, which I think is to me the most, the part of Buddhism that speaks to me the most, is a niche of a niche. And I actually wrote a letter to the Great Courses several years ago, because they often ask their viewers to ask for, to request courses they'd be interested in. And I wrote a letter asking, you guys should do a course on early Buddhism. And of course, I never heard anything from them about that, and I really don't expect to see one, because it's a very small kind of area. But that would be, if you look at their kind of approach, that would be the one that I would tend to use. Now, for those of you, all of you who are interested in the YouTube videos, have no fear. They will not be going away. I will be doing the courses in concert with the YouTube videos. The YouTube videos will tend to be one-off videos, will tend to be videos that take particular topics which can be dealt with relatively easily in a short format video, in a single short format video. Whereas the courses that I will be presenting on my new website will be longer, will be the sorts of things that take a certain amount of time and effort to get across. And so I hoped that these will be, that you can see these as basically sisters or brothers to each other, that they can go together. And of course, if you don't have time for the courses, then the YouTube videos should be fine. They'll be great. They'll be giving you ideas for regular study and regular practice, and that's fine. But for the smaller amount of you, I assume it's a smaller amount of you, who are interested in something deeper and something that could potentially be more life-changing, then the courses would be the way to go. And I mentioned at the beginning of this video about wiser and kinder and calmer. I have now up on the website, which is the Online Dharma Institute, which you can reach at onlinedharma.org, a free mini course, which is going to be the first course that I present up there, which is going to be a mini course describing the use of those three terms and why I pick wiser and kinder and calmer, and the relation that those terms or those ideas, those concepts have to the Dharma, to the teachings in early Buddhism, and why those three in particular, and how they interrelate, and how we can bring them into our lives. So I think it's going to be a mini course that's going to be of interest to all of you, and I would urge you to check it out. It's free. It's free for download and watch at your leisure, again, at onlinedharma.org. And in the near future, I'm making this now, in the spring of 2019. In the near future, I'm going to be presenting other courses. It's going to take time and effort to get these made. It's really becoming a kind of a full-time job for me to do this kind of Dharma material. But as a result, it's going to take time because it's only me working on them. So they have to be constructed. I have to construct the courses. I've actually been doing that, constructing these courses, some ideas for courses. If you have ideas for courses that you would like to see, again, longer material, something that will take time to do, let me know down in the comments. Meanwhile, if you're interested in helping to support this YouTube channel of mine and the work that I'm doing here, please do check out my Patreon page. Patrons on Patreon will, by the way, get discounts on the courses that I'll be giving over on the Online Dharma Institute. And please consider subscribing, give it a thumbs up if you like it, and I hope we'll catch you on the next one of these videos. So meanwhile, all of you do be well.